thunder.
Hey, is the thunder dangerous, Dan?
No, it's the lightning that's dangerous. You taught me that. I've learned something in Texas while I've been here.
Oh! Back to some of the things we spoke about earlier. You see what is happening with the homeless crisis throughout America. You heard the CPI number today at 5.49%. Again, this is more proof that this inflation is not transitory. This inflation is here to stay for a while, ladies and gentlemen, and the inflation is going to begin to run hotter than ever before. Consumer prices up 5.5% compared to last year, largest monthly gain since August of 2008, and we all know what happened back in 2008. Excluding food and energy, inflation increased 4.5%, the largest move since September 1991. They estimated that we were going to see it at 3.9%, but here we are today. Dan Goka sitting across from me at 5.5%. And what are they blaming it on? They're blaming it on the used car and used truck market. And we were discussing earlier that if you go to shadowstats.com, John Williams, he puts this number, if you go back to the way they evaluated these numbers, if you went back to the way they did it in 1980, we'd be at roughly about 13.5% today. So this is all happening while wages are going down. And Dan, we were talking earlier, I'm going to get your opinion on this. Bitcoin sitting around 32,000 and change today. It's having a very hard time getting back to 40,000. They told us that this was a hedge against inflation. This was wealth protection. Get your Bitcoin, leverage your house, run up the credit cards, get a personal loan. Whatever you have to do to get some Bitcoin, you better do it. Dan, really quick.
Bitcoin, again, it hasn't been tested. On a day like today, Bitcoin should be skyrocketing. It should be shooting up to the moon. When you think about it, when you hear these inflationary numbers, you've not seen numbers like this since 1991. There are people that are 30 years old that have never lived through this inflation. And Bitcoin, they just announced the largest seizure of Bitcoin because of illegal activity in the UK. 180 million pounds, which is $250 million. Of Bitcoin that they've seized from people. So you guys, this is not a hedge. They're not seizing things like this, other assets, because they're not using them for illegal activity. So Bitcoin's not the safe haven that people think it is. These inflation numbers are horrific because they're only going to go up right now at this point.
So while we continue to watch inflation surge, this is going to definitely affect people on a fixed income. It's definitely going to affect people in the lower middle class, poor, but especially if you're on a fixed income, this is going to be devastating. And what we're going to see is we're going to see the Fed bring in more QE, print more money, devalue your currency even more. So if you're on a fixed income, get ready to pay more and get less. And this may not affect the people making $250,000 a year, $500,000 a year, but it's going to affect the average Joe making $36,000, $40,000, $50,000, or it's going to affect people living on Social Security. The gallon of milk is going to go up, the loaf of bread, the gallon of gas, everything's going to go up. So you really, really are going to have to budget yourself. If you can get a side hustle to bring in some extra income, do it. But how tight can a budget be before it snaps? People at some point just cannot cut any more out. When gas and food and utilities and commodities, everything going up, at some point there's a breaking point where people just cannot cut any more out, and they just can't afford to live. So again, going back to shadowstats.com, CPI back in 1980s formula today would be 13.5%. That's the real number. This 5.5% is a complete lie. This whole market is a complete lie. And the people who've been believing the lies and the fantasies are going to get absolutely annihilated. Bubbles last, ladies and gentlemen, until they don't. Bubbles only get acknowledged after they pop. And just imagine what the news is going to look like when this whole thing blows up. Wow, we didn't think this was going to happen. We didn't expect it. How could this have happened? But we thought this. We thought the Fed would do that. We thought that our politicians would do that. I thought the banks would step in and do this. No. This time, it's going to be no different than last time. But they always tell you it's different this time. It's not going to be different. The only thing that'll be different this time is the enormity of this crash. It's going to be much worse than anything you've ever seen before. Many investors, I want to talk about this. I want to get the boys in on this one. Many investors have taken on a lot of debt to invest. 40%, get this, 40% of investors said that they have taken on debt to invest. And this includes 80% of Gen Zs, Gen Zers, 60% of millennials, 28% of Gen Xers, and 9% of baby boomers. Personal loans were the most popular choice among those who took out debt to invest. Can you believe? Does this sound like, Dad, is this like the 1920s where people were taking out debt to jump into the stock market?
Yeah, the margin interest right now is at one of the highest levels in our history right now. Eerily reminiscent of 1929 prior to the crash of the stock market. So you guys can't make this up. You can't make up the inflated real estate. That was the same time they had numbers like this with the real estate skyrocketing was 2008. We've all seen this before, so it's a mess.
So Dan, Aaron, personal loans were the most popular. Can you believe? So we've got people pulling out and refining homes, pulling money out of their homes, using them as ATMs to go in and buy cryptocurrencies such as Bitcoin and others. And then we've got people pulling out personal loans to buy Bitcoin or to invest in the stock market. Now this was followed by people borrowing from friends and family. 38% of these people who went into debt to invest took out a personal loan, 23% borrowed from friends and family. Aaron, your opinion on that? People borrowing money.
That's just ludicrous to borrow money to try and make money. You're gambling. You're taking a loan to gamble.
And asking your parents or friends for the money to do it. Dan, I know you want to say something.
The one I want to that we've talked about before is that we went into a gold and silver shop, and the man that owns the place had a friend who borrowed $61,000 against his house to buy a Bitcoin for 61 grand. Think about it. He's got a monthly mortgage payment right now, and Bitcoin's hovering at what, 32,000 today? I mean, that's lunacy. So trouble's coming for these people. They're going to have shortfalls.
So get this, of these mental giants who took on debt to invest, or as Aaron said, gamble, nearly half of these people borrowed $5,000 or more in order to gamble in the stock market. You talk about a ticking time bomb, ladies and gentlemen. I mean, this is where we're at. People borrowing. I can't even imagine how many cash advances probably went out. And again, refining houses, pulling money out of their properties, using them as ATMs, and people are gambling because of the FOMO, the fear of missing out. My fear is missing out when this whole thing collapses, because that's where the real opportunity is going to be. We're going to be buying things at rock bottom, while people right now are buying at the very top of the market. They're buying at the very top of the real estate market, the very top of this, in my opinion, of the stock market. Many of these people bought, I think, at the very top of the crypto market. The sales are coming. When this thing crashes, think about this. If you don't have debt and you got a pile of cash, you got a pile of gold or silver, imagine the opportunity that is coming. And Dan is 100% correct. These cryptos like Bitcoin have never been tested in the bad times. They've never been through a Great Depression. They've never been through a economic collapse. They've never been through a currency collapse. They've never been through a debt collapse.
A war, even.
A war, absolutely. Gold has always been there. It's always shined. Silver too. It's been here for over 5,000 years. And to me, this is not the time to take chances. This is the time to hunker down and get ready, because we're going to experience something that we've never ever experienced in our lives before, and most people are going to be unprepared for it. And when it hits, they're going to be taken by surprise. And I think you and myself are not going to be surprised when we wake up to that day. I want to close with this. Aaron, there's people out there saying, oh, you guys have been talking about this collapse for years. Where is it?
The collapse is here. We're in the middle of it. It's already started. I think we're in the very beginning stages of it, but we're in it. It's here. It's not coming.
Yeah, I mean, take a look at the tents today.
Yeah, absolutely.
Take a look at the inflation.
Right. Yeah, it's here, ladies and gentlemen. So,
like JB says, and I totally agree, we're in the second inning of this thing. What's the worst thing that happened? Aaron brought up a great point. What's the worst thing that happens if you prepare? You get your debts paid off, you get some food put away, some security, you're set. That's all you need, okay? You need to be ready for this.
Yeah, and sit back, because there's going to be a lot of opportunity coming. It's not about doom and gloom. It's not about scaring people. I want people to prosper. Dan and I missed out on the 2008 collapse. We weren't ready for it, and I admit that. Aaron, he capitalized. He bought an incredible, beautiful 20-acre property. He's completely self-sufficient. He's got a ton of equity in the property. He got an incredible deal. I won't even tell you what he paid for that property. You would fall out of your chair. But out of all three of us, he's the guy that capitalized. So we're going to take a page out of Aaron's book. Aaron was ready. We weren't. And so I want all of you watching this video to be ready, because I want everybody out there to prosper. I want everybody to have a good, safe, healthy life. And I want your kids and your families to have a great life too. And the only way you're going to do that is if you make a sacrifice now, if you prepare now. You gotta have the life jacket on right now, because the ship is going down. And a lot of people, they're going down with the ship. You're not, I'm not, Aaron's not, Dan's not. So make sure that you're preparing. Continue to stay on track. And what's it gonna hurt to have a little gold or a little bit of silver? Never going to be worth zero. God bless all of you.
hey, is the thunder dangerous, Dan?
No, it's the lightning that's dangerous. You taught me that. I've learned something in Texas while I've been here.
Oh!
Yeah.
No? Look at Jay, feed them. Put it in your hat, dude. Give it.
I guess you just don't know you.
Yeah.
Put it in your hat.
Go around so people can tell.
He's the one that breeds my cows. Okay. All right, so you have bulls, right? Which are obviously your males that still are intact. They have their testicles. Then you have what you can do with your a steer is a male that has lost his manhood, and so those are just fed out to be to be butchered. Yeah. Then you have a cow, and what a cow is a female that has had a calf, and then you have heifers, which are female cows that haven't. So she's a heifer here. She hadn't had a baby yet. Okay. All right, and then you have your calves, which are male and female. But that's the distinction of. Wow. Yeah. But he was actually a bottle baby. I guess his mom rejected him, and then the lady I got him from had to bottle feed him. So that's why he's pretty gentle. He's used to human contact.
He's very well behaved. Is also really happy too.
I need to spray him. But they hate it. They hate being sprayed.
Whoa. This thing could just run you over, you're done. You know? Oh.
He ain't gonna go anywhere. But he's out of food, so.
Okay, well hang on.